Hello everyone, this is Umbara Prime here, and today is going to be my first review of a Doctor Who episode. This one in particular being The Giggle by Russell T Davies, and starring David Tennant as the 14th Doctor. Now the reason why I didn't review the last two episodes is that I wasn't sure how much I wanted to talk about with them, whereas with this episode I have plenty to talk about. Maybe one day I'll review them, but I'm not really too sure. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Well, let's get down to the 14th Doctor and Donna. Now, David Tennant and Catherine Tate have always given consistently good performances in all of their stories, and this one's not really any different. While I don't view their dynamic as good as it was back in Wild Blue Yonder, the two, well, have always shown to be best friends, and it is a bit sad that we won't see them for a while, at least for a bit, but we were lucky to at least have them back at all, and yeah, they did give a consistently good performance this episode. Was not actually the only Doctor here. This is actually Ncuti Gatwa's first performance as the 15th Doctor, and I've got to say, he knocked it out the park. He oozes charisma, and seems genuinely quite fun and flamboyant without actually being too annoying, which is something that some Doctors did fail at, like for example, Series 2 Tennant, Series 6 and 7 Matt Smith, and Jodie Whittaker throughout her entire era. Yet he also shows genuine compassion, such as him essentially helping his previous incarnation deal with his issues, and being quite affectionate with both him and Donna. I'm definitely looking forward to him in the next series, as well as him in the next Christmas special. And I'm hoping that as his era goes on, we'll get to see the more dark and serious side of his Doctor. There's one character who completely stole the show. It's by far Neil Patrick Harris as the Celestial Toymaker. You can honestly tell he's having so much fun and enjoyment with the script, mainly when he first meets the Doctor, during the puppet show, and the dance scene. He essentially fucks around so much just because he's in complete control, over essentially his Gary's Mod sandbox. And he completely fucks with the Doctor, mainly with the puppet show taunting him about all the people in his life he has lost. I mean, for God's sake, it's made a new meme format with the whole, you know, the Doctor's companions dying, and then, oh no, wait, she gets to live on as a puddle, and he's like, well, that's alright then, apparently. It's like perfect meme material. However, honestly, the scene that's by far my favourite, and I'm surprised about this, it's the scene where he dances to the body's spy skills. It's camp, and it's just so clear that, like I mentioned earlier, Neil Patrick Harris is having the time of his life. Just fucking around with Unit, spinning Kate and Mel around, turning people into balls and bullets into confetti. While I can't exactly compare him to Michael Gough since I haven't seen the original Celestial Toymaker story, I definitely can say that Neil Patrick Harris was by far the MVP of this story. Interesting was the return of Mel. Now, I've never really heard any of her Big Finish stuff, but in the original Plastic series, she wasn't really a character, but more of a soundbite. However, here, I thought that she was great. Yeah, she wasn't the highlight of the story. There was some nice fan service. I suppose I should also mention the name drop for the companions who the Doctor lost. It was nice to acknowledge Sarah Jane, how much the Doctor loved her, since canonically she died due to her actress Elizabeth Sladen passing away 12 years ago. Not to mention Adric's death, which also shows that just like at the end of Peter Davison's run, the Doctor still blames himself for his death. I guess it's now time to tackle the elephant into the room and get onto the more negative points of the review. Bioregeneration. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I absolutely despise the concept of it. I mean, first of all, the effect already looks like fucking Ditto from Ben 10. Let's go! Not only does this introduce multiple plot holes in the future when big events happen and Tennant won't show up for them, but to me at least, it ruins the character arc of both 10 and 14, since, well, they're essentially the same character. The entire point of 10 and 14's character is that he wants to settle down, but the universe won't let him. This is best exemplified in the Human Nature Family of Blood two-parter, where his human counterpart John Smith falls in love with Joan Redford, and that line is robbed from him. Life is robbed from him because the universe can't let the Doctor settle down. Not to mention, there's also a minor thing about how the Doctor can't fall in love with a human, but that's not relevant at this point. This is later expanded upon in The End of Time, where he visits his granddaughter and asks if she was happy, and she says yes. Whereas she asks if he was happy, he says nothing. That's the entire tragedy of his arc. By giving him that happily ever after that he always wanted but couldn't have, you completely ruined the point of his arc. Not to mention, Because of this, as well as the Star Beast's all emotional states of Journey's End are now gone, because not only does Donna get her memory back without dying, she also gets a version of the Doctor to live with. It's essentially the same with Rove and the Metis Crisis Doctor, which to me completely devalued the emotional states of Doomsday, where Rove and the Doctor are forcibly separated from each other. I know people always go on about how Moffat can't let characters go, like with Clara and Bill, and ruining their presumably perfect endings, but this just proves RTD is just as bad as letting the characters go. Not to mention, I think it's extremely unfair to the other Doctors. Every other incarnation had to die. They had to move on and their fans had to accept it even if they didn't want to. But now all Tennant fans won't have to worry because he's still around. How is that fair? Every other incarnation and their fans had to move on, so why don't Tennant and his fans don't get to move on? And don't fucking say that it's earned, because it isn't. It's just blatant favoritism at this point. Honestly, RTD just needs to let Tennant go and move on. I get that he's a joy to watch, but he's had his time. It's just so self-indulgent and very much like fan fiction. Like, if 14 had just said Alon V and regenerated into Gatwa, it would have been fine. A little bit fan-wampy, but still. Honestly, just let Gatwa take control and be the main Doctor in the show, because now everyone's going to keep asking for Tennant to come back even more now, and now that he's alive, and well, there's barely anything to stop that now. A minor nitpick, but I just want to ask, why was Rose Noble hyped up in the marketing in the special for no reason? I mean, no hate to Yasmin at all. I think she's already got these annoying transphobic grifters to deal with, and the last thing I want to do is add fuel to the fire. But what did she do? I mean, yeah, she did play a major role in the Star Beast, so that was it. She's not in Wild Blue Yonder, and in this episode, she's only in one scene. Maybe she'll come back for the Gatwa era, but honestly, I don't know. I just wanted to say that this was not a major criticism, it's just a kind of a minor nitpick that I have. So to summarize my thoughts on the episode, I think that the first 45 minutes are great, brilliant even, but the final 15 minutes are just... oh, fuck it, it's just bad. I'm just gonna say it, it's bad. The only good thing in them is Tennant and Gatwa's performances. That's it. It's very similar to Last of the Time Lords, in which the first 45 minutes are great, but the last 15 minutes are complete shit. But at least with Last of the Time Lords, I can at least meme the Space Jesus Doctor. Can't even meme this. I'll be generous and give it a 7 out of 10. I was tempted to give it a 6, but I thought because that the first 45 minutes was so brilliant, I think it would just be unfair to give it anything below a 7 in my opinion. To finish off, I'll give my scores to the previous two specials since I didn't review them. The Star Beast, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Wild Blue Yonder, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.